All right. Looks like we're recording. I'm trying some new software here. I'm going to talk a little bit about resonant peak frequency and what's going on here. Um, this is a bridge pickup that I wound in this Telecaster. This is a dummy coil that I wound. It's about 250, maybe 300 winds of probably 32 gauge wire. Um, and I've got it hooked up to a signal generator. The signal generator feeds the signal into this dummy coil, which activates the guitar coil, which then produces output. So, what that allows me to do, if you can see on our screen here, well, let's see here. This is the frequency that's being measured down here on the left. It's 1,000 kilohertz. It's a signal that's being generated, and it's actually registering on the actual pickup coil. This is the millivolts output, and let's see here. Oh, got to get over on the other screen. As I increase the kilohertz, it changes the millivolts output. We're up to 598 right there. But you can see the impact raising and lowering the frequency of the signal changes the peak to peak millivolts output. So what this is telling you is at what frequency is this pickup most sensitive? Is it going to create the most output? Now, this software I'm using, hey, look out, baby. My dog's in here wanting some attention. So I'm using this, it's called a picoscope USB oscilloscope. It's a 2-channel oscilloscope with a signal generator, which is really ideal for this, except it won't let me create what's called a Bode plot automatically. So I had to do it manually. And the way you do it manually is you set your signal generator step at 100 hertz and then step it up and record the peak to peak millivolts at every step. So you can see here, these are some of the pickups that I've tested. Okay, I couldn't figure out how to switch what I was showing on the screen, so I had to start a new video. So these are some of the recordings that I took, just stepping through. I think I was stepping through in 250 hertz increments. And I end up with a plot that looks like this. So this is the bridge pickup by itself. This was before I ever put it in the guitar. And you can see the peak here is about 6,500 hertz. So 6.5 kilohertz, which is, I think, pretty standard for a pickup. Now I go to the humbucker, and my peak is right around 6,500 hertz. Very interesting, because we know humbuckers are darker, right? So then I get to looking at why is that different. Now, you notice there's a lot of difference in the shape of this curve compared to this curve. This curve starts going up much higher and peaks here. This humbucker has a lot more low end frequency captured. Now, it really matters when you put it in the guitar. I've got 500K pots in this guitar. So there's the bridge by itself. This is the bridge once I put it in the guitar with the guitar circuit. You see it cuts out all of this high. So here where my peak is at 6,500, that's barely being captured because of the control pots and the tone circuit in my guitar. The peak now is at about 3250. Um, so I think that means that the peak, the resonant peak frequency of the pickup doesn't matter as much as the curve shape matters. And so the humbucker curve shape is going to determine that you capture a lot more of these lower frequencies. I went ahead and ran a comparison chart. This is the orange is the Telecaster bridge pickup out of the guitar, and the blue is the same measurements taken in the guitar. So whatever your pickup does is always going to be contained within. So the pickup design and construction determines this, but the tone circuit in your guitar determines where within that range your output of your guitar is going to be. I hope that makes sense. You can't capture anything that's outside of what's showing up in orange here. You're only going to be able to produce something within here. Now, if I went with 250K pots, this curve is going to be shifted further. Let's see, 500K is going to let more highs through. So yeah, it's going to be shifted more to the left. It would reshape that curve a little bit. I'm not sure if the resonant peak would change. I suspect it would. It would probably be over here somewhere. So that's what 250K pots are going to limit the highs. 500K lets more of the highs through, which is why you want the 500K on the humbuckers, because you want more of those high frequencies to be captured. This was it's a P90 variant that Gretsch uses in some guitars called the Fidelisonic. This was the measurement in the guitar, and you can see the peak there is at about 2K, and then it drops off pretty quickly after that. So that's what I've discovered so far, trying to figure out what resonant peak frequency is and how it matters. And I've just about determined it really doesn't matter nearly as much as the shape of this curve and the tone circuit that you put in the guitar. That's gonna determine where along this curve shape your actual sound's gonna be. My dog really wants some attention here. It must be, oh, it's not anywhere close to her dinner time, but she thinks it is. Let me know what you think. I know we've all seen like DC resistance reported on pickup. Some places, and I think Seymour Duncan reports resonant peak frequency on a lot of their pickups, and they determine it essentially the same way. I actually saw a tour of one of their pickup shops, and they had an oscilloscope setting up on the bench, and that's what they were doing to determine the resonant peak frequency of their pickups. So hopefully you found this interesting. I think for me, it's going to make me start thinking a lot more strategically about pots and capacitors and the actual circuit in the guitar, and designing that to match what I want based on the pickup. Just changing the pickups is going to do something, but changing the tone circuit's going to do something as well. And I think some guitars sound great because those things are matched to maximize the tone that you're looking for coming from the guitar. Anyway, I'll quit rambling on that. I'd love to hear your thoughts on any of this, though. Everybody have a good day.